Hey y'all, it's your girl, Minister REX. Hey y'all, it's your girl REX, are you say, and I'm back with another video. So, knowledge come with a price. I'm gonna just tell you that first thing first. Um, I recently came to the realization that it was actually an underground federation. That's what it's called. It was an underground federation that killed Jesus. So Judas was actually a part of that federation. At the time, it was the Romans who had it out for Jesus because he was saying that he was the king of the Jews. And we're not really going to dive too deep into that whole topic of him being the king of the Jews, but he died for a political reason because they felt like he was pushing a religious agenda within their Republican government, which was also very much oligarchy, OBLICARCHY, oligarchy. Yes, so it was like a government that was based on order and like rulership, but it was also a government, an underground government full of powerful people. And like I said, that's the part of the government that Judas was for. But like the Bible says, heaven and earth will pass away, and His word shall remain. And so Jesus came, and He pretty much knew that He was a part of this plan. Like I said, He knew that He would be crucified, and it's so crazy to speak on because this is all the stuff that I have been asking God, and it's just like I really got this information from somebody who don't love God, so to speak. And I don't think that they meant to tell me. It's just that nothing is hidden from God. And so in 2020, this, because it's nothing new under the sun, this Underground Federation remained and it stayed around for a very long time. But it wasn't until recently that it's become the same Underground Federation has become to the point of like the actual. So the Underground Federation, because I'm thinking too fast. That's why I'm stuttering with my words. The Underground Federation has gained as much political power as America's actual federation, like the actual federal government. If you wanted to lock this Underground Federation up, you would have to have just as much money, and they are the rich, like the main leaders of this are very, very rich and very, very wealthy, very, very powerful. And like Judas, they are snakes, but we're not going to get there because that's not the point. The point is that this same government reemerged in 2020 at a really huge scale. Yes, they came through deception because snakes are here to deceive. They came through deception, whatever the case may be, and they got kids, teenagers, adults. They got, it's just something that has became a big, 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 big thing. And so, while the actual government did kill Jesus, was actually an underground government that had the same influence. And right now, that same underground government has risen to a political influence, and they have merged. But mind you, they merged, like the actual underground government and the actual government have merged, and it's not a secret anymore. It's just something that is put before our eyes. And so, whew, I got to. And so that's another reason why it has to get dark, because Jesus died to keep order. Like I said, he knew he was going to die. He knew that Judas was the snake that was going to betray him. He knew that Judas was a part of this underground federation. It was nothing hidden from him. And mind you, remember we heard that Judas got paid by the actual government. You understand? When okay, so although Judas was part of an underground federation, the actual feds paid Judas for, you know, lying on Jesus. Not only because the Bible don't really, I mean, it does tell, but you have to read between the lines. For lying on Jesus, one, and for turning him in like he was some type of criminal. However the case may be, we needed order inside the earth, and so if he had not came and died, we would have the earth would not, the government would have never held up its integrity. And the integrity of the government that Jesus died for, which eventually, because democracy is not really good. When Jesus died, it was a republic. He died under a republic government, like I said. You hear what I'm saying? And so we don't really need even though a democracy would be a good thing, and it did come about after Jesus Christ did die. That's not so much so what he's looking for. It was the republic government that kept the order, and that's why it was necessary. You understand what the case may be? What we need it because whatsoever is loose in heaven is loose on earth, and whatsoever is bound in heaven is bound on earth. There will always be order in heaven because that's where the Most High God sits. However the case may be, it's very easy for earth to get out of hand. And so, although this underground government claims to have good intentions, or whatever the case may be, it is not an organized government on a basis that. So we got. So we got the government in the first place because the Israelites cried out to God and they asked for kings. Okay, they asked for kings and rulers because they felt like they could not listen, they could not hear from God, or they didn't like God's punishment, or God's punishment was too strong. And so they asked for kings and people who they could actually see and put a face to and put a name to. And because God is merciful, He gave them kings and He gave them a government. Okay, boom. Within this government, of course, things that had nothing to do with God and Him giving the people a government tried to intrude because He knows who if the people He knows who He want in leadership. He knows who He want in authority. He's God and God all by Himself. He don't need our help. He's purposeful. He's a purposeful God. We need His help. Period. Point blank. And so that's why Jesus died for political reasons. The government charged him pretty much with treason because he had been calling himself the kings of the Jews. And they were like, this is our, we already got kings, we got rulers. But being as though they're not God-like and they weren't godly rulers, they weren't even taking into the account they weren't even taking into the fact that, the account that this government that they were abiding in and living inside of came from Jesus's father, the Father of God, whatever the case may be. And so that's why they killed Jesus, because they had no knowledge, and it wasn't meant for them to have the knowledge, because if they had the knowledge of this, then they want to kill Jesus. And then we wouldn't be going, we wouldn't have as much grace as we do inside the world. However the case may be, the whole concept is just trying to explain why we have to go through 3 days of darkness, which is not literally 3 days. You got to remember that space time and earth time is two totally different times. God does not abide by the time of this earth. Okay? I think an hour